Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Shut Door or Door Shutter, coming back to you with episode 23 of FTB Skies. And part of this episode has been corrupted, sadly. But what we got into is Spirit. And the next clip I'm about to roll is the aftermath of me getting into Spirit. You guys didn't miss too much. Spirit is just an interesting mod where you have to kind of get soul crystals, fill those soul crystals up by getting Soul Reaper on your sword. And we did all of that stuff and got a zombie soul crystal, and then I filled that up off camera. And then what you're about to see is the result of me getting that to the max tier, which is ultimate. Alrighty, so after a little while, I was messing around with a few things to just kind of check out how the soul cage really works. I've got this to ultimate tier, which means that zombies are spawning at a pretty decent rate here. Not like the fastest that possibly could be, but it's okay. So we are, of course, getting items, but what I care about here is the essence. And this is going to be slow, right? I could probably throw in some cursed earth here. Could probably just get, so that is a 5x5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because the cursed earth actually only spans 5 blocks by 5 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, this isn't happening there. But then we'd want to go out 5 blocks this direction. And we could just repeat this and then fill this entire bottom with cursed earth if we wanted to. 3, 4, 5. Which is an option. But I think I might just want to do small patches. But yeah, so this is working. We've also got all the upgrades in here. And I just did a range 10 upgrade. So nothing too fancy. And also the crusher, we can actually quickly take a look at this. So this is actually requiring an advanced machine frame, which does require pink slime and netherite scrap. And then a simple machine frame, so it's not too expensive once you get into Industrial Foregoing a little bit. Especially on this pack, because, you know, netherite scrap is not that hard to come by. 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, so I've just kind of been messing around with this, trying to see where we really can go. And I'm glad that we can use soul cages to actually obtain essence, because now we don't have to worry about making a cursed earth farm and just solely relying on the cursed earth itself. And then, of course, we are just going to get zombie drops. I have a Feral Flare Lantern placed under this. Light shouldn't affect this, but I did put a roof on this slightly so we don't have anything else kind of bugging this. And I probably will grab some ender inhibitors over here as well. Let's see. So it's inhibitor. This thing right here. Just so that way if we do get the Curse Earth stuff up and going, which I might in a little while, we can actually have that stuff disabled. And we'll just place one on the bottom here. I like how you can place these on any block. Alright. But with that, I think we can kind of wrap up this segment of this episode, because we're done with the soul cages. And also, this is redstone controlled, so I can just come over here and toggle this whenever I need to, which is a good thing. And I'm curious, can we use the temporal pouch to speed this up? I mean, kind of. It does look a lot faster, doesn't it? Alright. Nope, that guy spawned out in the burning. Alright. And then I think everything else will just be voided. Ooh, if we middle mouse click, it voids it all for us. Fantastic news. Oh, I think I broke it. Yeah, I think I broke it there for a second doing that middle mouse click. That's okay. So this should still cycle. Oh, I threw away all the upgrades. Oh, that's a bug. That's a bug with the inventory sorter mod. Let me fix that real quick. Alright, so let's get a trash can here. So we want to just put item pipes here, and a crescent hammer, ultimate pipe upgrade, just void everything, okay? And then what we're also going to do is grab pipes. We want some fluid pipes, and we'll probably grab an upgrade here real fast. And then I want to basically put 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks here for the actual essence. Because this is also XP, by the way. You can just straight up drink this with a straw, I'm pretty sure. So that's something to keep in mind. And then we're going to go nearest first. So this one will fill up, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. So that'll be a lot of fluid, which is good. Exactly what we want. So I'm going to let this run. And I think what I want to look at now is probably getting into elemental craft. I don't know anything about this mod. All I know is it's got the word elemental in its name. That's all I got. So we've already got the source of the elements, which is the element source. And this just gives you a little bit of information. And then I have all of this in the system still. We also have the inert crystal, which we get from the crushed netherrack. And we got a book for that. So contained crystal. So let's look at this. So at elemental, contained crystal. So this thing right here. All right. So we've crafted that. By making the contained crystal, you can enhance its conductivity and make it more receptive to elements' energies. Okay. I have no idea what that means. Element extractor. Elemental energy needs to be captured to be used. Place an element extractor directly below an element source and an element container below it. The extractor will begin collecting the energy and storing it into the container. Extracting too much will cause it to cease functioning until it recovers over time. Okay, so we want an element extractor and a small element container, which requires impaired element pipes and glass. All right. So let's go for this one first. So let's actually just make like a couple, 100 of those. That looks like a good idea. Get a couple of those. So we'll grab this. And then we'll grab this. And then I don't know what we do after that. So we get more impaired. We get small element container. Element pipes move elements between containers. Click on a pipe connection to toggle it or to make it pull from the container it's on. Okay, to begin crafting with elemental energy, you need an element infuser. Like all instruments in the mod, the infuser needs an element container beneath it. Insert the ingredient into the item infuser, and it will use the elements in its container to craft something new. So I'm assuming what we do is if we fly out in this direction for a little while, you can start seeing elemental craft little nodes in the air. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, right here. So we can see this guy. So I'm assuming if we were able to kind of cobblestone this up. So if I put this right here, is that not how it works? Or is it this way? Okay, so I think I get this now. I picked up the book and I looked at it a little bit. It gives me a little bit more information. And I think what I'm misunderstanding is that these containers are basically your building block. So if we come over here, if I put the container here, I can put the instrument on top of this. And this will then extract from the source. So you need this to then be able to pretty much like multi-block off of it, which is interesting. Okay. And I'm not really worried about like absorbing too much. I think this is fine, right? So if I take this out, and I take this, yeah, so now we have that. And then, of course, you can see that there's a whole bunch of these around. And this book does tell you, if we look at sources, where is it at? So element extractor, click on sources. There is fire, water, earth, and air, and each one of these can be found in different biomes. So I'm pretty sure if I went to the nether, I could probably find some of the fire ones, which is interesting, right? Because these are actually going to be somewhat useful here. But let's take a quick peek at this. So element infuser. To begin crafting with element energy, you'll need an element infuser. Like all instruments in the mod, the infuser needs an element container beneath it. Insert the ingredient item into the infuser, and it will use the element in its container to craft it into something new. Okay, so it wants us to basically craft at least one elemental crystal. All right. So let's grab, what was it called? We'll just bookmark it real quick so we can actually grab it. So this thing right here. So we're going to take what we just infused, or just extracted from, and infuse this into an inert crystal, probably. Or one of these crystals. Probably a container crystal, contained crystal, whatever they're called. Alright, so let's come down here. So put this here, put this here. And is that how that works? Is there a way to view what you can actually infuse? Okay, yeah. So it is an inert crystal. I was right in the first one. So we need one of these bad boys and not the contained crystal. Okay, so that'll infuse this crystal and become an earth shard. Crystal, whatever they're called. And then we'll get one of each. The four nations lived in harmony or something right now, right? Okay, so we need a drenched iron ingot, which comes from a water element. So where would we find a water one? All right, so flying around in the void, I just discovered this. White rock. All right, I knew white rock can spawn here, but I didn't know about all this other stuff. That's interesting. It's probably not going to be that useful. But we can actually grab this earth, or is this is an air one, right? So we can do this. And then, of course, we can actually come over here and bookmark air node. I'm just going to type air. Okay. And once this is full, of course, we can pick this up. Fantastic. And then I probably want to grab... Oh, let me see. So this is a small... So I'm assuming there's other element containers, right? Yeah, so here's like the larger ones, which are not that expensive, it looks like. It looks like you just need to get into Elementcraft to actually be able to obtain those. All right. And let's quickly try and grab at least one more container of this. And I think if you extract too much, it goes into a cooldown period. I don't think it destroys the node. I think it temporarily allows you to not take any more. All right, so I guess I'm looking for water. And I think that's it. All right, so I finally found a water one. It wasn't really that long after the air one, but I still finally found one. This is what I actually was looking for, and I finally got one. So we're going to extract out of here. And one of the cool things, of course, is if you wanted to, you can set up a pipe and then a container. And then a container. Goodness gracious. Okay, there we go. Just wasn't placing. And then you can click with a pipe to toggle this, to extract. And then there we go. So we'll have two of these containers, and then we'll go back home. Quickly, I'm going to mark this as a water. And sooner or later, we can actually pick these nodes up and then use them at our base instead of having to fly out here and collect them, which will be fantastic. So I'm going to fly back now. Alrighty, so we've got the water one here, and we then take an iron ingot, and this should make a drowned iron ingot, which doesn't, so it uses about half, and then we get it's not even drowned, it's drenched. But anyway, I'm going to mess up so many of these names. So we get 8 drenched and 1 drowned statue. Alright. And then we can kind of keep moving. So we get towards the elemental container. Can store 100,000 of an element compared to the small containers that hold 1,000. Otherwise, it works the same. Alrighty. So we need white rock, which can be crafted using earth and stone. So we also have element holders. hold elemental energy. This can be used to power spells or transport it to other devices. To store elemental energy, right-click on a source or sneak right-click a container to release it. Right-click a container. Oh, to release it, right-click a container. Okay. So we just have different holders. That ain't too complicated to understand there. So you basically have like a portable element. Interesting. So there's a spell desk. So yeah, this just goes down to the spells. Shrine. Shrines use a specific element to change the world around them. In some ways, for example, this might make lava, disable teleports, spawn mobs, etc., depending on the shrine. Shrines do not need an element container. They instead accept elements directly via element pipes. Alright, so this is a whole lot of stuff. Whole lot of stuff to get into. So I want to get towards this first, which we need burnt glass, which is fire, glass to get burnt glass, and then element pipe, which is just 2 drenched, and 4 impaired element pipes, or just 2 drenched in a contained crystal. Okay, well, I think that's a good wrapping up point for this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I am enjoying looking at element craft and the ways we are looking at getting essence for mob duplication in the future. But we will definitely be doing a lot more elemental craft because we do need to get the 64 drenched iron ingots. And then I believe we also need to get the swift ingot, whatever that one is actually called. I believe it is in one of these here. This one. The 64 swift alloy ingot, which is going to be later down the line, because this requires element binding, which we haven't even... I don't even know what that is. But we're going to need... How many of these? 64. So that's another 64 drenched iron ingots. So, a lot of things to look forward to. Elemental craft. Still have no idea what I'm doing with this mod. But, you know, I always enjoy doing mods first time on camera. And this is definitely one of those cases. Thank you guys. Stay awesome. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.